I'm live. Okay, great. This has a slight delay. This is pretty cool. This is like the first time I'm doing a live stream session on YouTube. So it's supposed to start at 12. Right now it's 11:45. So this is great. It gives me like some time to just kind of chill for a bit. I'm live. Before we get started. Okay, great. This has a slight delay. This is pretty cool. This is like the first time I'm doing a live stream session on YouTube. So it's supposed to start at 12. Right now it's 11:45. So this is great. It gives me like some time to just kind of chill for a bit. Right. Before we get started. Okay. This has a slight delay. This is pretty cool. This is like the first time. This has a slight delay. This is pretty live stream session. Like the first time I'm doing. So it's supposed to start at 12. So it's supposed to start at 12. This is great. It gives me some time to. This is great. Just kind of chill for a bit. We're kind of started. Okay, just kind of chill for a bit. Okay, this is
okay? Because if your microphone can hear the sound coming out of your speakers, then obviously that's going to create an echo. So turn your speakers off. Now, second thing you want to do is in the program that you use to stream. So for example, I'm using OBS. Now, OBS actually records the sound that you hear on the computer, as well as the sound you speak into your microphone. So record sound from two different sources. So for example, if I play some sound from my computer right now, okay,
Trying to get rid of that echo. Trying to get rid of that echo. So I would use this. I would use Zoom. Trying to get rid of that echo. So I would use this. I would use Zoom. Trying to get rid of that echo. So I would use this. I would use Zoom. Trying to get rid of that echo. So I would use this. I would use. Okay, now I need to test the sound. Okay, so apparently I'm connected. I'm using earphones or the AirPods. there's some sophisticated technology. Okay, so what I'm doing is I set up Zoom, and then I somehow connected to uh, YouTube using the live stream feature. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out. It's my first time doing this. Mm.
Every time a sales lead comes in, it's selected from the website to a CRM system comes out. Yeah. Hey guys, it's Eddie the Magic Monk. Yesterday I did my first live stream, and unfortunately the sound was echoing really bad. So today I want to talk about how to fix it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you turn your speakers off when you are live streaming, okay? Because if your microphone can hear the sound coming out of your speakers, then obviously that's going to be great. So turn your speakers off. Now, second thing you want to do is in the program that you use to stream. So for example, using OBS. Now, OBS actually records the sound that you hear on the computer, as well as the sound you speak into your microphones. Record sound from two different sources. So, for example, I play some sound on my computer right now. Okay, it's going to record. But what I'm saying is this needs to be turned on, so it doesn't record the sound that's playing on the computer. So what you're going to do is basically, again, it could be recording sound from multiple sources. So what that means is you click in settings, click audio, and you can see that it's already picking up the audio of your microphone. Okay, it's picking up audio. And then if you go into the webcam, individual webcam settings, like this, you can see here, it's going to pick up audio again. So make sure you don't have audio on both places. Make sure you turn off the audio or your webcam to disable that. So then it's only.
All right, so it is 12 o'clock. Yeah, this system, using Zoom and YouTube live streaming is a whole new concept to me. So if I get it wrong, I'll learn something. If I get it right, then good. But the show must go on. I'm not even sure which screen I should be looking at, because I do want to share my screen. In order to do that, I have to do that on Zoom. I'll go ahead and get started. I did get some essays. Thank you so much for that. And I am going to talk about how to take your writing to the next level. What do I mean by the next level? I'm going to show you how to get 70s. A lot of bar tutors, they teach you how to get 65s. We could do better than that. I'll show you how to get the 70s. There's some key concepts that you need. First, I want to say, hey, hold on, let me have this prop here. I'll just show it here. Let's see now. So baressays.com, discount code, use Jurex bar. So yeah, I love baressays.com. And Gil's a great guy. Okay, so with that said, let's see, I do want to, of course, mention some common errors that I always see when I grade essays. And I'll just tell you what they are now. Number one, there's two of them. Number one, it's when people, right, they don't focus on the element, right? They're just scattered, they'll go into narrative. I'll show you what I mean by that as we look at some of these essays. And also, a lot of people, they either forget to write a counter argument, or if they do write a counter argument, they kind of tend to stop there. What I mean by there, by the counter argument. Right there, you could also implement the rebuttal to the counter argument or a statement in support of the counter argument. These are little tips there that people don't really talk about. But when you look at the answers, at the model answers that receive like 100 points, right, you'll see very clearly that they implement a counter argument and also a rebuttal to the counter argument. And I'll show you guys what I mean with the examples. So with that said, and I do apologize again if I'm not doing something right here with this technology. Okay. So let's start with, I did get a request to do a contracts essay, and that contracts essay was from February 2022. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So I think this one kind of got a lot of people because it was just full of issues. It was full of facts, time constraints. The law there was complex. We're talking about possibly UCC 2207 issues. And when that happens, people just kind of freak out. So, right, let's go ahead and what I want to do here is I want to just focus on the key issues in the call of the question, the hypothetical. So again, this is from July 2022. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, you guys. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, so this is why I wanted to do the live stream from Zoom. The reason being is because I can share my screen, and that's what I want to do instead of have been, you guys just kind of just view me. Let's go ahead and view some content. Okay, so as you can see here, right, this is the question. So a lot of facts here, but I want to focus on the key sections here. Okay, so it says here, okay, Beth, the retailer, right? They sent an offer to Sense. Okay, and then it gets a little tricky there. Okay. They talk about FOB, of course, that has to do with liability, where the liability is transferred to a different party. But look what it says here. It says Sense, right? Sense is the importer. Sense promptly sent Beth a signed acknowledgement accepting the offer, which also included the following language. Some shipping boxes have external water damage. Contents of shipping boxes guaranteed to have no damage, right? So what do you have there, right? You have an additional term, right? And you did have to point out that, hey, we're talking about the UCC here, right? So what does that mean? It's between merchants. So you did want to mention that, hey, look, this is between merchants. So we are going to look at we're going to look here at essay that I received. Of course, the identity is anonymous. I'm not going to share that with you guys. If you guys send me an essay, you guys want me to identify who you are, I'll do it. But other than that, I won't. Okay, so let's see how, and of course, there were more issues here, right? The question is, well, who's liable, right? Between Beth and Sense. That's one part. And they also want you to discuss remedies. Look at that, damages. And then you have another set of parties here, Beth and Hot. Who's liable? And of course, damages. So it's an action-packed question. A lot going on here. So let's see how this particular bar candidate, let's see how they approach this question. Applicable law. It says here, okay, UCC applies upon sales of goods. Common law applies upon other transaction. Okay, so sales of goods. Okay, here, Sense sold candles to Beth. So you see what I meant right away, you guys. Remember how I said you have to use the element? Well, use the element, sales of goods, right? You want to use that. I always say this. You want to use this. Let me see if I could use a different color. I'll use blue. E plus the element plus because plus the fact. Okay. So what's the element here? Right, goods. Here we have a good. Right. Here's how they could have done it. Here there is a good present because. Right, what's being sold? Because candles are goods, right? Do you see that? It's very concise. I mean, that's how they want you to write. They want you to discuss the issues. So do that. Just give them what they want. Okay. So let's go ahead and formation to contract. So okay, so the offer. So this is nice. Offer, acceptance, consideration, right? So there's an offer. Right. What are some things here that are missing up to this point? What are some things, right? Are we talking about a merchant here or are we not? All right, that's not presented here. Let's go ahead and see what the offer says. Let's look at the analysis here. The issue. Offer requires present intent to offer, clear terms, and identified offeree. Okay, some terms there, some elements, nice. Here, Beth sent a signed offer to purchase 1,000 individually wrapped candles at a price of 1,000. Okay, so, right, this kind of sounds kind of like a narrative. You want to avoid right, language that is not clear. You could say, for example, here, there are clear terms because. You see all that changes? There are clear terms because there is the language stated that they would like 1,000 individually wrapped candles. Okay. Also, right, the offeree is identified. Okay. So you want to use that again, going back to element plus because plus facts. Now, again, I'm not sure if I should be at the on the Zoom platform or the YouTube. Okay, so I'll just stay on the Zoom platform. Now, acceptance. Okay, so this was big. This was right when we were talking about 2207 additional terms between merchants. Okay, so let's see what they wrote. And I did want to focus on this section because this seemed to be like a key issue. It says, so let's look at it together. Under the UCC, mirror image rule is not applicable. Okay. So acceptance does not require complete same terms as the offer. Okay, great. So they talk about the mirror image rule. It's not applicable here. Okay, then they say if material changes are made in the acceptance, such as a warranty term, okay, such changes are not included in the contract. Okay. So that's part of the rule. Non-material changes are included if the offer doesn't object within 10 days of receipt. Right, that could be true. That could be true. Right. There are some other terms, right? If the party doesn't, right, if they don't object, something like that, if they don't, if they make the counter offer conditional, something about assent, you have to state that they agree, right? So there's different little rules to that. But I think this bar candidate kind of has a general understanding. So I would say that I like their rule statement. It's okay. Let's see how they analyzed it. Let's see, because remember, this is what's important. And I think that's what happens a lot for the February exam. A lot of people, a lot of bar candidates, they will focus a lot on the issues, the rule, but not as so much on the analysis. And I believe that's why there's a higher pass rate in July, because I think more people there focus on the analysis versus just mostly focusing on the rules. Okay, so let's see if they applied that here, that E plus B plus F, which is what I really want to emphasize. E plus B plus F. Okay, just let me click over here. Okay, so this is delayed, which is fine. Okay, let me go back to Zoom. Uh-oh, how come I always get that one? Okay. So where is, okay, here we are. Okay, so do they have an element plus because plus facts? It says, since accepted the offer. Okay, but acceptance included some shipping boxes. Okay, included some shipping boxes, but have external water damage. But contents has no damage. Okay, so there I'm having a hard time following because it doesn't advance the argument, doesn't discuss the element. You see that? It's more of a narrative. You're telling a story, and that's not proper for the California bar exam. Let's continue. Shipping box is not important because contents are individually packed and there are no damages. So changes are not material. Okay, so this is good here. You see that? They actually discuss the elements. Now, a better approach would probably have been, here there are no material changes. Why? Because they go into what was discussed here, right? But notice how this is kind of left towards the end. You want to make it easy for the bar grader to say, hey, look, this person here knows what we're talking about right off the bat. changes are not material because, right? So I would just move that, put that at the beginning of the paragraph here. And then you go, hey, you could say, hey, the changes are not material for the following reasons. Because they only talk about, right, the external damages, which have nothing to do with the actual contents. Okay. So, right, the structure here, I think this definitely takes away from having it be a stronger argument, a stronger presentation. And then it's highlighted here, merchant, not a material change. So they do talk about the merchant rule, not limited to change, no objection within a reasonable time. If offer doesn't mention offer, cannot be changed by acceptance. So I'm not sure what they meant by that, but I'm like, okay, it's not clear. And a bar grader's not gonna say, well, let's take some time and see what's going on here, right? They're just gonna go right along. It says consideration. Okay, so this was an important part here, I think. What I would have liked to have seen also is a counter argument. Remember we talked about that? Okay, and also a rebuttal to the counter argument. Do you see how you could have made this a lot stronger? Just discussing this. Okay, so let's continue. Consideration. Requires bargain for exchange. Okay, so this is a very minor issue. Formation of contracts fulfilled. Statute of frauds. Okay, talk about the statute of frauds over 500. Okay, here. Okay, it applies, right? Right. Okay, I like this because they talk about the facts here. Over 500. Okay. Offer signed. Okay, so yeah, they go into the elements. This is what I mean by going into the elements. It's signed by Bath and includes the price and the quantity. Great. Okay, so it's fulfilled. Okay, minor issue. Let's go to breach of contract. Okay, before breach of contract, I probably would have discussed the perfect tender rule. I would have discussed this first. And then you go into breach of contract. You see how that works? So let's go ahead and do the perfect tender rule. Okay, damage. And I'll get back to the breach. I will get back to that. Okay, it's just it's out of order. All right. Well, let's give the bar candidate the benefit of the doubt here. Is it out of order? Let's go ahead and at least read it. I think that's fair. Breach of contract. Breach of contract occurs if party fulfills its obligation under the contract. If they fulfill the obligation or if they don't. Okay. I think the rule statement is off there. Here, and I would just put some space. Honestly, just let it breathe. Give it some space to breathe. Look at that. Look, just makes little differences. I love that. I love when there's I love when there is there's space there. Okay, breach of contract. Breach of contract. Okay, here as stated above, contract was formed with the contents that sells Bath 1,000 individual wrap candles at a price of $10,000 FOB Betterville. And some shipping boxes have external water damage, but contents of shipping boxes guaranteed to have no damage. Again, narrative writing. How do you avoid that? E plus B plus F, element plus because, plus the facts. Okay, but if you just throw it out there, it doesn't advance the argument. Since shipped candles to Betterville and Bath received candles, Bath employees noticed the water damage in some shipping boxes and rejected the shipment without opening any boxes. Narrative writing. All right, you're telling a story. Contract said that some shipping boxes have external water damage. Contents have no damages. So since didn't breach the contract. Okay, right, they have no damage. So great use of the facts. You see how I actually like the facts that you discussed, but they're out of order. Why are they out of order? Because you don't have that structure, that element. It's because, right? So since they didn't breach the contract, Beth shall pay 10,000 upon receiving candles. If Beth didn't pay it, so Beth breached the contract. Okay, so before, yeah, so I was kind of correct in saying that maybe the perfect tender rule should have been discussed before breach. Okay, so I do want to say, let's see now. Let me see. I'm still sharing my screen. So I do have cheat sheets here. Right. Let's see if we could point out. So 2207, I do have an explanation on this. Unless acceptance, okay, let's read the rule just for the sake of becoming familiar with 2207. Okay, so additional terms, it states terms additional, right? They will be accepted unless, right? Unless, and I stated this before, acceptance is expressly made conditional on assent to the additional or different terms. So if I have the additional terms and I'm including additional terms, I'm modifying the terms. And yeah, I can say, hey, look, I can say, hey, look, I am adding additional terms and I do want you to consent to these additional terms in a very, in express, right, make it clear. And then it's, right, it can be accepted. And then we have other additional, that's 2207.1, and then we have 2207.2, and you have other additional terms. And I think this is what this particular bar candidate was getting at. Okay, they do not materially alter, right, the contract. So, but the point I was trying to get at is that there's a structure, right? You start off with the governing law, and then you go on to contract formation. So contracts, if you have a problem with contracts, I think you should be comforted by knowing that this is probably a very organized subject. I think it's probably the most organized subject in at least as far as the subjects that are tested in the bar exam. But also, unfortunately, it's the subject that's taught in the most disorganized fashion. It's just how it works. Don't ask me how it works. That's just how law schools and bar prep companies and the material, that's how it operates. Okay, but let's go back. So yeah, so what I was trying to get at is that you must have some kind of structure there. Okay, so some kind of order to the point where don't discuss breach before the perfect tender rule. Damages. Okay, obligation to mitigate. Party has obligation to mitigate damages. Okay, party. Okay, here's sent. I think you're missing, right, a better rule statement there. Conforming goods, non-conforming goods. Does that sound familiar? All right, so let's put some space here. Look at that. Okay. So rule statement, and then we have here the analysis. Okay, so this doesn't talk about the key elements, right? Where they conforming, non-conforming, that they have a duty to inspect, right? So you're missing. I think this right here is going to cost you some points. Damages. Okay, now we go into remedies. Okay, so let's talk about remedies. Compensated as to the contract have not been breached. Okay. So what is expectation damages? Okay, so we'll assume it's expectation damages here. Send paid 500 to ship the candles back, right? They did pay, they'd have to make that payment to Sunville and notified Beth that since intended to resell the candles to mitigate damages. such 500 shipment fee is compensated. Okay. And then it says sent solicited bids to receive best offer from redemption of 9,000 FOB Sunville. Sense would have obtained 10,000, but for Beth's breach, so Sen can receive 1,000 from Beth. Okay, so that seems to be true. In total, Beth can be compensated 1,500. Right, because they ended up, instead of having someone pay 10,000, they're going to end up having someone pay 9,000, so they lose $1,000 plus $500, right, for the shipping fees. Okay, so yeah, so the numbers are correct, but I think you could have done a better job there. Remedies. So remedies, the way you structure that, it's its own little beast, right? You have the compensatory damages, and then you have expectation, reliance, consequential. Well, you have those here, but there's no analysis there, right? There's no black letter law. So again, I would suggest, let me see if I have the cheat sheets here, where I do talk about these type of remedies in the cheat sheets. Legal remedies: compensatory, expectation, consequential, incidental, reliance. Okay, so yeah, I think you at least need something there. So from what I see is that you actually, right, I mean, this is looking, because there's no, so far, there's a lot of narrative writing. I have not even seen a counter argument, right? I think you understand the rules, you understand the law, the operation of the law, but your presentation here is suffering. Okay, and also there's missing analysis there. I mean, you could just write something brief. I mean, the bar graders understand, right? You're writing under pressure here. There's time constraints, and there's other people who are experiencing other bar candidates. They're experiencing the same stress that you are. All right, so they understand. But you got to put something. Formation. Okay, so now we get to question 2. Okay, Beth versus Hot. Okay, so formation of contract. Okay, so that's good. Same as above. Wonderful. Okay. And then you go into 1,000 candles for 12. Okay, contract is formed. Okay, transfer of risk or loss. Okay, but before we go into that, okay, formation of contract. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, so you have, I mean, it's something there seems to be missing. Okay. The formation of contract, is that an issue or more of a heading? It's probably more of a heading. So what's the issue? Right. And there you need you need the offer acceptance. Right. So this kind of seems like it's plain. I understand that a lot of times you can use see the rule above. I understand that, but just because everything seems to be there seems to be a pattern of missing content. It just seems awkward. Okay, so Beth and Hot entered into a valid contract to purchase 1,000. Okay, so again, element plus because plus effects. How do we know that? Did they enter into a valid written contract? Right, because if you use that little formula, and then I think that would help you a lot. For example, they entered into a valid contract for such and such because the facts state that that's what occurred. You see that? Here, this is more conclusory. Hey, they just entered. There's no there's no reference to the hypothetical. Okay, transfer of risk of loss. Okay, here I really like this. I really like this issue because I think here is where the FOB applied. Now let's see how you manage that. Let's see how you approach that. It says between merchants, risk of loss transfers upon tender of goods. Under shipment contract, tender of goods occurs when seller passes the goods to the carrier. Right. If contract is FOB placed, tender of goods occur when goods arrives at such place. Okay, so we're talking about the transfer of liability there. So I'm just gonna put the space here. Okay. Here, contract is FOB Hatfield. Okay, got it. Okay. Risk of loss transferred when hot pass candles to carrier. Right, because that's where they were located. That's where hot was located. Truck company at Hatfield. Truck was struck by lightning in a storm, and all of the candles melted. That is true. Okay, but where are you going with this? You see how you tend, right? There seems to be a heavy use of narrative writing. Upon lightning, risk of loss was transferred from hot to Bath. So hot didn't have obligations to provide other candles to Bath. Okay, but where's the analysis? All right, so I think here, I mean, it's a great issue as far as liability, right? So, right, but right, you want to make it clear that Bath is liable. Now he's liable, right? So yeah, instead of you're explaining what FOB means, but at the end of the day, right, Bath is going to be liable, and you kind of want to point that out. Okay. Acts of God, clause release, party from breach of contract. Okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, that's a good issue. Okay, to mention here, truck company shipping contract disavows liability from acts of God, including lightning. Truck company's obligation to provide candles to Bath became impossible due to lightning. Okay, so here we have possibly excuses, right? So truck company was released by its obligation on the contract. On the other hand, oh look, there's a counter argument there, right? That's counter argument language. On the other hand, right, Bath was not released by such clause because payment of $12,000 is not impossible. Thus, Bath breach contract. Okay, this is good. This is good. But Hot didn't breach the contract. Okay, that's good. But it just sounds like you have many issues. That's what I call you. Okay, you have many issues there. That's what I call overlapping the issues. You have acts of God, right? You have impossibility there. I would, right? So that goes into excuses. So I think you could have handled those two separately. But I think it's great that you did mention that. Hey, we might have an act of God here, but nonetheless, right, it's not going to release Bath from liability. And I think you have the conclusion. The conclusion is great. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic, right? But it's your approach to that. So what I'm saying is use more of the elements, use E plus B plus F, element plus because plus the facts, and right, do not overlap the issues. Just treat them separately. Let's go into damages can be compensated if not breach here. Beth, okay, so we're talking about compensatory damages. I'm not sure. All right, you do want to, I think it would be wise for you to study remedies a little bit more. Party can be compensated as a contract is not breach. Here, Beth breaches the contract because Beth didn't pay $12,000. Okay, so again, it's going to go into the narrative here. All right, so you want to avoid that. So let me make some notes here. So use E plus B plus F. All right, let's see now. Focus on the counter argument. Okay, then later, focus on the rebuttal to the counter argument. So that gets you, if you focus on one counter argument, that could get you a 65 if it's like a key issue. If you have two key issues, it could be a 70. All right, but they have to be key issues, they have to be well structured. Right, that's what I'm saying. First, focus on the counter argument. Okay, and to a lesser extent, don't overlap. Don't overlap the issues. Okay, so here the score that I would assign would be a 50. All right, but I mean, there's a lot of potential here. I think the issue spotting was good. I thought it was great. As a matter of fact, but the use of the elements, I thought that was missing. I thought that, yeah, also study remedies. All right, that's going to help you. That's going to help you. And again, the cheat sheets. Let's see if I could post a link. I'll post a link in the description of this video to the cheat sheets. All right, great, fantastic. So let me stop sharing. And what I want to do is I want to get a better grasp of this YouTube as it's used with Zoom. Yeah, I think there's a lot of educational value here. And I do have some more essays. Thanks so much for sending me those essays. I am going to get to those sooner than later. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, by the way, let's see. When is the next session? I didn't mention that. So I'll just table that for now. All right. And yeah, I was very happy. Okay, so somebody said something here. PD, let's see. Will you be sending a sample answer to this contrast question on mail? Let me respond to that. I will post the video on my YouTube channel, okay, which is Jurex Bar. Okay, great. And then Madhav has a question. Madge Latif has the question. Yes. Mag, I'm not even sure I'm saying it right. You know what? Let me see if I can share. If somebody wants to hop on here on Zoom, that'd be great. Let me send the link. Let's see now. Uh-oh, what did I do? You guys, this technology is actually a lot of fun. I'm actually enjoying this. Okay, let's see now. So I'm going to post a link. Okay, if somebody wants to hop on Zoom, you are more than welcome to, and we can have you here as a guest. If not, that's fine too. So let me go ahead and answer the question. Okay, so the question says, what should I do if I can't study too much, like 10 hours a day? I have good news for you. Most people, including myself, cannot study 10 hours per day. That's not the way it works. That's not the way our brain works. All right, because if you study 10 hours per day, you're going to experience burnout. And what happens if you experience burnout and you're still studying? You're wasting your time. You see that? So what I suggest, this is what I did when I studied for the bar exam. I said, hey, look, I have 7 days out of the week. 5 of those days, I'm gonna study 1 hour essays. So it's a pain in the butt to write these 1 hour essays. A huge pain in the butt. Okay. So what I would do is I would every day, I mean, I would eat breakfast, of course, shower, all that good stuff, and then go straight to the cafe and then do a time 1 hour essay every day, 5 days a week, consistently. Right. I did what was important. Um, so, and then of course I had lunch, and then I would study a little bit more after lunch, and then I would take a break. And then I would exercise, maybe take a nap sometimes, like shower, all that, rest. Yeah. And then you get re-energized and then go at it again for like 3 hours, maybe 4. But I was energetic. So if you're studying 10 hours a day, you're doing something wrong. Please stop. Okay, so find out what your weak areas are and focus on that. And yeah, I think there's this book, forgot who wrote it, the 1080 rule, right? One of these self-development people. And they said, hey, look, the most important thing, focus on that. Like that should be your priority. So find out what your weak areas are, focus on that as the start, right? And then go from there. But you should not be studying 10 hours a day. Yeah, I would suggest you take a break too and just re-energize. By the way, I would study Saturday and Sunday too. Saturday and Sunday, I would study the performance test, and every day, 7 days out of the week, I would do MBEs. Yeah, not too many. I just balanced that out. So, okay, anyway, that's a whole different story. Let's keep going. Let's see now. Next question. Let's see. Can't believe in myself as I'm a foreign. My English is a second language. Yes, I get that a lot. So my suggestion is that you focused on the formula E plus B plus F, because what happens is that the bar graders, they want you to be responsive, right? So if you're responsive, that means that you're being concise. Okay, standing. Then there's injury here because the car was damaged, right? So you're actually confined when you focus on the E plus B plus F formula. You're actually confined to your writing. You're prevented from just doing narrative writing, like we saw here, for example, for this particular bar candidate. It was just narrative writing. It was just not. It wasn't necessary to do all that writing. So I would focus on the formula E plus B plus F. I would focus on what I call signal words. What are signal words? Here, right? The element is present because. Counter argument. On the other hand, the element is not present because. The facts state this. This is a close call, but a court will probably agree that. These are signal words that I'm repeating. I'm using the same words. There's no need for me to come up with extravagant words. Okay, so let me see if I can find a list of signal words here. So I want you to be concise. I want you to be concise. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen again. As soon as I find the okay, here it is. I found it. I found the signal words. And look, I'm going to use Zoom again. So I'm very happy about this. I'm very happy with Zoom here. Okay. So look, signal words. Okay. It says here, below is a collection of signal words and phrases broken down into the initial argument, right? Your initial argument or the premise here, right? If you want to have longer sentences, moreover, additional, furthermore, counter argument. I suggest that if you have a preference for one of these words, keep using it over and over again. The other party will counter. Like, however, I used to love using however. every time consistently for the counter argument. That way, I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna write, how I'm gonna structure the phrase. I'm thinking more about the analysis, the facts. How am I going to combine this? Right. On the other hand, the other party may say that, right, the court will likely agree. Mechanical language. We're talking about mechanical language here. That frees up the mind so that it'll think about the actual analysis. How do you connect the element to the facts? You see that? You see that? Okay, so don't worry. I would focus more on these signal words, right? The structure. Let's see now. By the way, I'm gonna stop sharing. I do offer, let's see now. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you guys the structure of the rebuttal to the counter argument. But I'm going to share something with you here. Give me a second. 5 extra points. The link. I did produce this very short video. A mini course. I call it 5 extra points. It's $100, but I'm going to reduce the rates. Why am I going to do that? Because I'm going to discontinue making myself available for a 15-minute consultation. I'm going to take that off. So, but I guess if you buy it now, I guess I would still have to perform, and right, I would make myself available for a consultation. But yeah, you do want to see how this I did mention the counter arguments, and then after that I mentioned the rebuttal to the counter argument and how most people miss that, and that could get you 5 extra points, right? So I do talk about that in this mini course here. Okay, so look, let's see now. Okay, so before I get to Brian, I see Brian there. Hey, Brian. By the way, yeah, Brian, myself, we go way back, and he's a friend. Why is he a friend? Because he's been there for me in the past when I was going through tough times. Okay, so if you think, okay, yeah, a lot of you guys are studying for the bar exam, right? And right, it's just life, right? There'll be other hurdles, but the good thing is that once you get your license, and then income goes up, and you're more maneuverable. Anyway, let's see what Brian wrote. It says, Eddie, basically telling people to get good at writing. Yes, exactly. That's my job here. I'm telling you to get good at writing. How should I say this? Writing for the bar exam, it's right. I would say it's very unique. It's not common because, right, they want you to focus. I get a lot of people who are great writers, years of writing. For example, nurses, right, and they have a certain way of writing. They're very elaborate. They're very intelligent. But for the bar exam, they want you to be concise. E plus B plus F. I say that fast. E plus B plus F. Right. So, and I do consider myself a great teacher. I consider myself a wonderful teacher. And what happens to lawyers who are good at something, for example, lawyers that are great at litigation, you know where you find them? Not in law schools. Where do you find these experts that are really good at it, right? The great brief writers, where do you find them? They're all practicing law. Okay, I'm just being honest here. They're all practicing law. So I'm trying to kind of just kind of have a lighter caseload, and I do want to get back to teaching, to doing more bar prep stuff. I really enjoy this material. Really enjoyed. Okay, so it says here, I have a chance to start now for July 23. Yeah, so what I would do if I were you, I would just study, get that schedule out, and just be consistent. And that's actually what I did. I skipped a bar administration. I just went straight through because when I remember because I took the bar several times, and on my last try where I was unsuccessful, I literally walked out of the test room and I was like, I don't know what that was, what that last question was. So I think I gave myself a day to just kind of chill, take it easy. And then I started studying again. And I said, hey, look, I'm gonna just skip the next administration here, the next administered bar exam, and just study straight through. Okay, so if you need to do that, you need to do that. Right. The good thing is that I did develop these cheat sheets, and and so now I offer them and they can save a lot of time. I do write them in a way where they're easy to understand. And that's the way the law should be, right? Because we have, the law is just, it's manageable. That's how it's intended to be, because it's intended to be practiced. But what happens is that people come around and, right, they're very elegant and elaborate, and then they kind of tend to just kind of over-explain things, and then things get confusing. But there's a way to make things simple, and I believe in that. Just make it clear, just like writing, just write it for the bar exam. Make it simple, make it clear to understand. Okay, great, fantastic. So I do appreciate everyone who showed up. Much love to you guys. And I definitely want to do this again. I think today I'm just going to do one question. If you're watching this, you want to send me a question, go right ahead. I'm still considering when the next session will be. I have a feeling it's going to be very, very soon. So with that said, I'm going to end the live stream, and I wish everyone all the best. And today is December 22nd. I have to look at the different clocks here. I'm on different time zones here. So we don't interact anytime soon. I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and may your dreams come true for this new year. Okay, with that said, I will say goodbye. So I'm going to end